Hello everyone, my name is Shashank and I welcome you to yet another video. This particular video is about the story of a little marketing experiment we did back in August 2018. The idea was to advertise Stone Santa in cabs that operate in Bangalore. So for that, we went to the Bangalore airport, spent about 16-20 hours speaking with different cab drivers in the parking lot. And the result was we were live in 400 cabs. We had advertisements inside the cabs, and that story led Stone Santa to become viral on the internet for a couple of days. But most importantly, that particular experiment taught me a lot about marketing and business in itself. So here I am recording all my experiences with that particular experiment as a video 4 years later. I'm doing this also because I think it was perhaps one of the best things that I've done in my life, and it was very enlightening for me. So I thought, why not convert all the text that I have into a video? And here I am doing that. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. So yes, the year is 2018, and 4 months after the campaign went live, I decided to write a blog about it. And the blog says how I got an ROI of 322% for my startup, Stone Santa, by spending a night with 400 Uber drivers. Now, that sounds a little clickbaity, and that is how it was supposed to be back then. But the idea was to first advertise in the cabs. Then, what we did was I wrote a Quora answer about it. The Quora answer says, "What did you do today?" So that was like a very random question. What did you do today? And I decided to write something about it. So I wrote, I advertised in 400 cabs in Bangalore today, one of the biggest marketing campaigns of my life. Here's the picture. And this answer entailed the process of doing that. So we talked about the first cab ride, and here's a photo of all the cabs that had the advertisement of Stone Santa by the time it was 6 a.m. It shows us conversing with the cab drivers there. That's me, a very skinny version. So it was an entirely beautiful moment. And this answer, I wrote it right after I came back from the airport. And if you can see, it has a good 150,000 views in total. A lot of comments came in. So this was the first part, or sorry, the second part of the campaign. The first part was to go advertise in the camps. The second part was write about it on Quora. Next, I wrote about it on Facebook, and it got like a lot of attention. People were very happy about it. So it's not that the matlab, advertisements were not happening in cabs before, but I think this story stood out. It broke the internet for a couple of days. Broke the internet not globally, but on a particular level in the startup ecosystem. We got a lot of attention. I mean, if you can look at our Google Analytics here, we have like a lot of people visiting us. This was when the cab campaign went live. This is when the blogs went live, when we got covered by Your Story. So Your Story covered us. Then Marketing Mind covered us. And there were like a lot of other online publications that reshared this story that allowed us to get virality. And ultimately, the result was we got a lot of traffic, we got a lot of inquiries. People wanted to purchase gifts from us. And that was when I truly understood that attention can convert into transaction. And all of this happened with very little money spent. So this video is a breakdown of the thought process that went into designing the campaign and the outcome. And hopefully, if this YouTube video takes off, that would be just another aspect of this campaign still going live and still paying dividends. So let's get started with the thought process. So I started the blog with a statement saying there are days that teach you things and there are days that change your life. And I truly believe the 4th of August 2018 changed my life in many ways. So here is the picture of how it looked. There were two pamphlets. It was laminated, and what we did was we placed it behind both the seats. It was through a rubber band, so it was like very easy. Okay, the date was 5th of August, 4th of August. So me and my intern Sanjay, we went to the Bangalore airport. The idea was to put it there and make it live in 400 cabs. So the inspiration, the inception of the idea was that I was at a stage where I was very heartbroken. We were not able to do a lot of marketing. In fact, I didn't know anything about marketing at all. So back in those days, I got speaking with the cab driver, and he talked about his experiences, the hustle that happened on ground, and somehow the idea of advertising in a cab came up. And he said yes, he will happily put an advertisement in his cab. So that was the inception. Over the time, I kept talking to more people if they would be willing to advertise something in the cabs. And I think it was an assumption born out of optimism that they will, because when you ask someone if they'll do it, they'll do something in the future, they usually say yes. And that increases significantly when you know that you're not going to meet that person for the second time. So I think all the cab drivers, they were happily saying yes, we'll put your advertisement in our cabs. So I think it was good in a way, because if they had said no, I would have never pulled this off. So that was the inspiration. Now comes the planning and execution. So I think for that I needed to do some calculations. So I was trying to assume how many cab rides happen every day, how many people sit in the backside, how many people sit in the front. So an estimated of 15 to 18 customers back then, with 10 to people, 12 people sitting in the behind. Average trip 30 to 45 minutes. So an average number of days a cab is active per week was, let's say, 6 days a week. That is 24 to 25 days a month. So this is what I understood after speaking to a lot of cab drivers. Now my idea was that we'll have the brochure right in front of their eyes. So in case it catches their attention, something good happens out of it. Now what I did was I started doing some number crunching to understand how many should we advertise in, so that we're able to see some results on our analytics, or we're able to see something, or at least know if the experiment was a failure or a success. So back when we were planning this, the hypothesis was that we'll just work on the traditional campaign. The idea of writing a story about it on the internet never occurred to me. But most of the returns of this particular campaign that have come in because of us writing about it online. Nevertheless, we'll get there. So for one cab, assuming 10 impressions a day, assuming 10 people sit in the behind and they see it, that would be 300 impressions a month. Now, I assumed that out of that, even if 5% visit my website, that would be 15 people. And out of that, the number of leads that I would generate would be, say, 10% of that 5% that visits my website. That is 1.5 leads a month, which is very bad if I just take one cab into consideration. So we multiplied it by 100. We estimated 400. So for 400 cabs, we could estimate almost 600 leads coming in a month with an estimate of 6,000 website visitors. Now, if I look at my Google Analytics, this is Google Analytics, the older data. If I take August as a consideration, I think we would have hit that number. So the estimation was almost on point. Now, designing the brochure, so we got help from one of the designers. So we decided to draw the brochure in a way that it told, we didn't want branding. We wanted to sell. So it was right on point. Gift your loved ones, handmade portrait. Visit stonesanta.in. And there was my phone number. So in case people wanted to just call, they could. Now that's me and my teammate Sanjay. The first cab, so of course, the logic way was the cab that you take to the airport, you try to sell that idea that, hey, we're looking to advertise in cabs. Would you allow us? And incidentally, Sagar Bhaiya, he agreed to it. And not just he agreed to it, he also gave me a friendship band. And that was the first time we remember that, oh, yes, it is Friendship Day today. So, yeah, that was it, getting the friendship band. Now, 399 more to go. So, we reached late night. I thought that a lot of cabs would be waiting for passengers because it's early morning and all. But the parking lot was fairly empty. So, we had to walk a lot to find cabs. And most of the cabs that we found, most of them were sleepy. That was very demotivating, because then we thought that, okay, let's shut shop and go. So we decided to rest. There was a canteen right there. And one of the realizations I had while I waited in this canteen was that the idli dosa that we paid for in this canteen was worth just 20 rupees. And just 400 meters away from there, where the terminals were, the same idli dosa costed like 10 times the price, 200 to 50 rupees. Um, it was a very beautiful feeling being there, looking at the uh, contrast that we could see in just a matter of 100, 200 meters. Nevertheless, we were waiting. At around 4 a.m., we saw like a lot of cab drivers coming in, and the horns at that point, I remember, it felt like music to my ears, because that was the signal that yes, now we can speak to the cab drivers and possibly get them to advertise Stone Santa in the cab. So we started to talk to them. And an interesting thing that happened was a lot of cabbies, they came to us, they helped us connect to other cab drivers, and they made the process rather easy. So it was starting to get fun. And I guess I think one of the lines that I wrote, I'm very happy about this line was, I guess hard work was the language that connected us with the cab drivers, and they wanted to play a role in our story too. I mean, the fact that I'm talking about that particular lesson of life from 4 years ago today is because I think it left a very deep impact in my mind, and it shaped me as an individual in many extents. And finally, after 40 hours of adventure, we were live in 400 cabs. Oh, I thought it was 16 hours. I did not realize it was 40 hours of work. But well, or I may have exaggerated that number. The Shashank that I know, he would do that. So, yes. Now, post campaign, I told you, right? I wrote a Quora answer about it. So that one got like 40,000 views and 4,000 upvotes, sending 1,300 visitors to the website. I think all of that happened in 72 hours. We broke even with our investment. So I'll tell you the costs as well. So for brochures, we paid about 18,000 rupees, those printing, framing, and all of that. Travel expenses, tea and cigarette for the cab drivers, Red Bull for me, Sanjay, miscellaneous expenses. So total we spent, I think, 34,000 rupees. And then here is an estimate of the kind of revenues that we made out of the 3 month span. So I wrote this article in November. So August, September, October, November. Almost 3 months. These are the details. 1,300 visitors, 1,100 leads, 150 artist leads, 320 customers, total revenue 650,000. Future bookings, okay. Product breakdown, how many customers purchased with product. Okay, 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs, 6 lakh 50,000. So here it says handmade portraits. Now this data is 2018. Today we know this that digital caricatures are the art forms that are selling the most. We today do not have any product like handmade cards and letters because those are low in value. And we realize that we want to sell high ticket size products. So that's there. Well, okay. Yeah, this is my Google Analytics data from there. And then I wrote about this campaign and concluded it. And here I am making a video out of it. So if I look at my Facebook, um, I mean, a lot of people shared about that campaign, and I think it was perhaps one of the best things that I've ever done. Well, yeah, I think I was, oh yes, after I wrote that Quora answer, no, this is how I was tracking it. So August 7, 2018 is when the answer went live. So at 4:33 p.m., 1,200 views, 32 upvotes. Okay, this was my total views on my Quora answers back then. So just we can ignore it. I had 730 followers at the point when I wrote this answer. Oh my God, I feel so nice reading this now. So in after 30 hours, the number of views had almost doubled. I didn't get a lot of many followers. The next day at 4:33 p.m., I had almost 35.1 thousand views on the answer, 2,682 upvotes, and my upvote to view ratio was 13.08. My upward to view ratio was 37.5. That means the answer was performing well. And here I'm tracking my followers. So, oh my God, I think I tripled the number of followers by the time we had spent 48 hours into the answer. So I think the answer not just gave me, or the fact that I shared this story online, not just gave me a lot of customers, but also it helped me establish a lot of confidence in just myself. A lot of very big people shared that story on their timelines, praising me for the efforts that we did. I mean, it was crazy. And I remember sharing that story left, right, and center on the digital platforms because I just wanted to get a lot of views on my website. At the point when I did not have money to spend, this was perhaps one of the best marketing campaigns that I was a part of. Just 35,000 rupees invested. It's generated more than 10 lakh rupees in revenue. And hopefully, if this video works out, it will generate a couple more thousands or maybe a lakh. You never know. I mean, if I turn out to be consistent, if I turn out to be like a good YouTuber, maybe some of those people who really like my content trickle down to this video. They like it so much, they visit Stone Santa and they end up as customers. You never know. I think for people like us, who do not have money yet desire to make that money, the one thing that we can do is we can leverage the power of the internet. Content, once you put it out there, it stays there and it continues paying dividends. And the best part is you will not be taxed on those dividends unless you decide to do a transaction out of that. So I'm really proud of all the things that I have done in my past, and hopefully, in the next few days, months, week, I will be constantly pouring out content pieces like this. If you like it, great. If you do not like it, I'd love to hear from you. And I hope to be consistent more than anything else. And I know that consistency will allow me to become better. But if you watched the video till now, I'm really grateful and thankful. And I look forward you. Sorry. I look forward to listening to your feedback, and I look forward to serving you again. Until then, thank you. Bye bye.